I was left with very debilitating sciatica pain. It would be, I experienced neuropathic pain for 3-4 times a week, severe, and I had to live with this. So what happened that I came across of these modalities, energy, frequency-based modalities, and that brought me back. I managed my pain with that. So pain's gone, and I was able to do everything. And oh my God, from that point, it was a revolution in my head, like thinking, we don't know anything about healing. I suddenly saw a very big gap in the whole, what's offered to patient. Patient would go through nutrition, patient would go through adjustments, in the best scenario, otherwise they're just on drugs all the time. But when you give energy to the body, when you give this potential, you really own something. You really start fueling your healing way through your disease. And eventually you get complete resolution of the problem.
Introduce our guest today, Dr. Zulia Frost, medical doctor and clinical director of Recharge Health, trained in both Western medical science and Eastern philosophy. Nice combo. Expert in integrating light and energy therapies, worked on over 10,000 patients, and very, very cool gal. I'm looking forward to talking to her again. Dr. Zulia, are you there, my dear?
And hello, I'm here.
There you are. Okay, my dear. Good. Now,
lovely to meet you all. I know you have got Dr. Bergman.
I'm glad you made it, my dear. Now, you have a presentation, because I've been super excited to watch this.
Yes, I have a presentation. May I share it with the group, or
Absolutely.
Do you have a copy? Okay, so what I would like to start with is to say a big thank you to have me again on your show. I really love it. I love the work you do. You guys are awesome, because the work is pioneering. We need to educate everybody in the new way to look at your own personal health and take responsibility for your own health. And there are some tools, including the FlexBeam, which could help you to do this. So let me introduce you very quickly a little bit basics, foundation behind the FlexBeam. So what is FlexBeam? It's targeted red light therapy. It produces light generated by LEDs, not lasers, LEDs. But it's still part of so-called umbrella name is photobiomodulation. So photobiomodulation, it's a use of light of low intensity for therapeutic purposes. And you could see here on the diagram electromagnetic spectrum of light and visible light, which gives you an idea where the FlexBeam is. This little bubble here, it's where FlexBeam lives. It's a red and near infrared light. So you guys need to know the difference between near infrared light and mid-range and far-range infrared light, because the near-infrared light directly stimulates mitochondria in the cell. And mitochondria is, as you know, it's your energy generator in your cell. So if you target directly mitochondria, you get positive energy effects, but without heating the tissues, without thermal effect. And if you go and use the mid-range and far-range, much longer waves, then you a photoacception or happens by water molecules in the body, and that's why you may have heat associated with their therapeutic effect. So I want you to make clear before we moved on. What sort of effects? You know, photobiomodulation is not that new. It's been already 50 years since science studied this method of treatment. And one of the main researchers, Juanita Anders, wrote a paper where she defines the general effects of photobiomodulation. Its effect on pain, reducing inflammation, immunomodulation, promotion of wound healing, and tissue regeneration. This is a kind of key elements. But I found this diagram on the internet, and I thought it was actually brilliant because it, first of all, it shows that beam of light actually penetrates the tissue, and as it goes everywhere, it delivers energy to the cells, but also have various effects. And one of the effects, which is most important, it's a vasodilation effect, and therefore underneath the source of light, you have much better circulation, and also angiogenesis. Angiogenesis is basically where the body creates fresh new blood vessels, and we really want it. If we want to heal, we need presence of blood. So this effect is important. Of course, there is effect on collagen production, much better quality, quantity, repair of the muscular cells, bone fractures, even cartilage repair. And so many people now living with arthritis, they should know about this method because there is a direct stimulation of the cartilage cells. There is another effect associated with the regeneration of the neurons, and this is very good for neurodegenerative conditions. And last but not least, effect on inflammation and immune system. So all this, what science is telling us in the last 50 years, but I must say that red light therapy now experiencing exponential quantum leap, because I tell you, 10 years ago, we had hardly, thousands of papers on the subject. And now, if you go on Google Scholar, you see over 3 million papers on the subject. So let's understand a little bit now more specific to red light, what particularly flex beam is focused on. And I was thinking for a while and thinking what is really great. And there are 3 pillars. Number one, it optimizes body energy. So as you imagine, we are 47 trillion cells working in tandem, coordinating together, and every cell performs 100,000 chemical operations per second. How much energy you need? You need tremendous amount of energy, and those little ATP, your currency of energy produced in mitochondria, this is foundation of life. Without mitochondria, you cannot live at all, like second, you cannot last a second. So energy production is super important. And of course, when you use red light, what does it do? It works exactly like solar panels. It receives the light by absorbing in the pigment, actually. Like solar panel, you have photosensitive cover, and then it transfers into flow of electrons. In a similar way, the body operates with lights. So you charge your own battery. You have this potential which is built in the mitochondria and cellular membrane. So really, if you ever want to maintain your good energy and not slip into ill state, you really need to use devices which energize the body and create that potential for you. Very recent research talks about neurodegenerative and cancer conditions linked to low potential of the cell. So remember this. Second tremendous effect from red light therapy, it's effect on recovery from physical performance and injuries. So I'm going to stop at this point on my next slide, but I must tell you this is the main sort of effect from flex beam. We position it as a recovery device, whether you recover from overexercising in the gym or from your injury, or whether you are recovering like from poor sleep or from poor gut motility, you can use the flex beam. Next amazing effect from red light therapy, it's around circadian rhythm. And I tell you why. This is really most interesting for me, at least, subject at the moment, because science established that melatonin is a hormone which repairs circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm is your sleep and wake cycle. So when circadian rhythm is out, people actually get sick because, you know, all your hormones are released according to schedule. All your vital function happens in the day according to schedule. So if your circadian rhythm is out, then of course, how to put it back? You need red lights. Red lights stimulates production of your melatonin produced by your pineal gland. And so if you use red light therapy devices, you can repair your cycle. And of course, you know, another good quality of melatonin, it's a very powerful antioxidant, and probably one of the most powerful antioxidants in the body, involves also in DNA repair. So this is your protection from environmental stresses, which we expose to every day. So here I want to talk a little bit about healing, because really what we want to do using all these devices, we want to help the body to heal naturally. And in order to understand how the body heals naturally, you need to understand, first of all, that and recognize the fact that we can heal. We have ability to heal. This is ability to heal came from our evolution. We evolved, and through this evolution, we managed to survive. We would not survive if you not been able to self-heal. And remember, from childhood, you have little bruises, cuts, and bashes, and you know, you recovered, you survived somehow. So, but of course, what the question we should really ask, why are we not healing? What is an obstacle that your natural healing mechanism are impaired? And of course, number one, it's our lifestyle, what we eat, how we eat, what we drink, all our bad habits, smoking, etc., stress. We need to address this. I also want to bring your attention to the understanding of the concept that when you heal, the symptoms, they are not external, they're not coming from outside. This is your expression. This is the expression of your body to adapt to environment. So the symptoms, for example, if you acquire virus and you have fever, the high temperature, it's actually adaptation of your body to the environmental situation. The virus is around you. So the body raises the temperature by producing little pyrogens, yes? And this high temperature is going to boil that virus. So you clear this. But also it's a cue for immune system to initiate immune response. So when you go and start popping paracetamol, it's really working against your natural healing. And you need to recognize this. The symptoms are expression of your adaptation. Dr. Herring is a hero of mine. He is a doctor of homeopathy, lived in the 19th century. He came up with the three laws of healing. Number one, so all cure starts within you, from top to bottom, and the recent symptoms will disappear first, almost like you're peeling the onion. The first layer, then further deep inside. So when you start healing yourself, don't freak out, don't recognize the symptoms. It's natural expression of your condition, and you inevitably experience pain, you inevitably experience some changes, and it's a positive sign. So right now, let's look at the fundamental stages, how the body heals. I mean, obviously, I broke you down in a very simplistic way, but you need to understand that body always heals through inflammation. So I personally fed up when everywhere I can hear, let's kill the inflammation, let's kill that, let's kill this. To me, you need to work with the body. And if you support the body in natural healing, then you can get results and resolution, full resolution of the problem. So inflammation stage happen immediately following the trauma. So when there is a tissue destruction, disintegration, we need a lots of blood present at these points, because blood brings oxygen and nutrients. We need also lymph presence, because lymph clears the debris and bacteria. So because of this, you have all signs of inflammation, swelling, redness, heat, and pain. And in this case, pain is really important, because you don't want to move that limb. You need to give rest and repair. So if we start using red light therapy devices like Flex Beam, for example, it's going to assist you at the inflammatory stage. Why? Because it stimulates that blood flow. It brings more oxygen to tissues. And the whole, phase of inflammation actually shrinks in time. So you can have very positive effect through this. The second stage is stage of repair. That's where the tissue start integrating, creating like scaffolding, the bridges. It's basically scar formation time. It lasts a little bit longer, sometimes few months. And through this process, you could see that this fibroblast, osteoblast released, and the body start creating coarse scar. And again, if you use red light therapy devices, what science is telling us, the faster rebuilding, faster, much better quality of collagen. So remodeling of collagen 3 into collagen 1 will be a lot faster. And collagen 1 is much more stronger, but also elastic, pliable. So your scar doesn't look so bad. And then there is a last stage. It's called remodeling. The last stage lasts between 1 to 2 years. And it typically happens sort of on the background. When you see there was a scar, after a while you look, oh, no scar. So this happens because if you again use red light, you can speed up this process, because stem cells and immature cells, they then receive information how to form and mature in the particular tissue which has been damaged. And this is applied to any type of tissue in your body, including heart, including gut, including, muscular or ligamentous. So using red light therapy at all 3 stages is highly beneficial. So here I want to talk to you a little bit about the some case studies. In the first one, I introduced you to some research I personally done with Flex Beam, because I wanted to see myself that it does work, it does deliver what we're saying it should deliver. And you could see here on the slide, there are 2 levels. First sort of model is when patient comes to the clinic, and I schedule patients to come 3 times a week. We had approximately 40-45 minutes per session, and in 3 weeks we receive this sort of results, where people come with any kind of pain. And I'm saying this any means like acute, chronic, sometimes even neuropathic. In average, we calculated the score of pain in 50 data entries was about almost 6, 5.9. And after 3 weeks, they all reported reduction in pain to 1.5, and they also reduced their pain medication. So very good result. And then we repeated the same process, but we use now home use model. So we send the Flex Beam home to the patient. They have with me consultation, and I explain them how to use, and they record the score of pain. And that happened over a year period. So there are a few patients gone through this. And the score was overall, out of all people treated at home, 6.2, and it dropped down within 3 to 6 weeks. The only one patient was there in the study who was 9 weeks, but that's why I put 3 to 9 weeks. So overall pain dropped down to 1.4. So if you calculate both scores of pain, you could see it's a very reasonable score, which gives you 75% improvement. And why wouldn't you use this method? Because it's completely safe, it doesn't have side effects, and it's very easy to use. So I'm very happy with this result. I wanted to stop and talk to you a little bit about one case study which was there with me. This is case study on fibromyalgia. This is the one patient I said 9 weeks. So this lady, she actually, one of your friends bought the Flex Beam, and she wanted to try. She tried it in the first day. Her pain from 10 dropped down to completely 0. And she was so excited. So she reached out to me, found me through the customer research and said, I want to be in the study. So we prepared the protocol. She followed it. This is her results in this diagram in 1 month. So in red, you see a fluctuation of your pain throughout the months. And in gray, you can see what's your score pain after using Flex Beam. And you can see gradually within 1 month, the pain actually dropped to almost to 1. This is her picture within these 9 weeks. And you can see red again, her actual pain, and blue, the pain after. And you could see consistently, every single treatment, she would have a pain relief. And even at the break time, she was able to maintain her state. This also happens when on day number 4, she stopped taking pain medication completely. So this is with no pain meds, just Flex Beam. And as she goes in time, her neuropathic pain, that burning sensation, has gone completely. So she was experiencing just aching and sore. And physical activity, she started to do a little bit at the beginning, a little bit more. And later, after the break, she was doing very strong physical activity, like shoveling snow in her yard. It's impossible if you in fibromyalgia and severe pain, right? So overall, I consider her case was very successful. So she achieved the quality of life, basically. So this is demonstrated to me that we can tackle even serious conditions like fibromyalgia. And the last case I want to present you, it's a case, the effect of Flex Beam on sleep regulation. And for this, I picked a patient who, young, 36 years old, but over 8 years insomnia. Not SAD, not seasonal affective disorder, proper insomnia. And so he would not been able to sleep at night, but he would be completely sleep up till maybe in midday. So it's when, as a marker, took the saliva melatonin test, and you could see this first diagram showing you that in the morning, high melatonin level, at night, very low. And that explains his symptoms. So he took the device, he used Monday to Friday every day for 40 minutes for 4 weeks. After week 5, we gave a week off, and then week 5, he took another sample for saliva. And look at this, it's so beautiful, because not only that melatonin level improved at night, it's actually self-regulated. So it dropped in the morning, but increased at night. So it tells you that there is a regulation processes going on. And so with this patient was also very interesting to learn that since he stopped his treatment, after 8 months, he was still maintaining that regime. I mean, he still was sleeping at night and being very awake in the daytime. Why 8 months? I checked on him after 8 months. I haven't checked lately, but after 8 months, he was still maintaining. Here's some few effects on headache, effects on energy, positive, and even effects on asthma. So I think I consider Flex Beam a true device for self-regulation and support in your recovery.
Doc, I'm so excited about the research and things. When people understand that just red light has such a massive effect on the body, and this is why we recommend sunlight. Okay, I got a couple of questions. Circadian rhythm is just brilliant. I had no idea that it affected that, because this is literally the body regenerates at night. And with where you got this stuff, because in the Western medical thought is you've got a symptom, you cover it up with a drug. How did you break from that? What because it's completely different than what you're talking about.
Yes. I tell you, this is actually a journey. It wasn't happen overnight. Of course, I was a very regular medical doctor with thinking the drugs do the magic only. But now I'm just looking at this and thinking, drug is using just medication. It's like having the orchestra and all you do just playing the flute. So in a sense, really, it should be holistic approach. And I came to the realization through my personal journey, personal experience. Like many therapists, or the therapists who become therapists, they live through personal trauma, and it happened to me as well. I had a tremendously bad car accident, deadly, and so after that experience, I came out very, very broken and in a lot of pain. And, you know, they told me that they can't do anything for me because I just have to live through this. And the only good advice my neurosurgeon told me, he said, Zulia, you have to exercise, do every 6 months, 1,000 times a day. Oh my God, I couldn't do even 10. I would be crying from pain. That's how painful it was. So I had to look at all aspects of healing. So I was getting up early in the morning, running up to the mountains because I live near the mountains, and I would be bowing to the sun. You know, intuitively, I just felt that the sun, the red lights of the sunrise, it's healing. I was doing every morning exercise on the sunrise. I developed my own, schedule for exercise. I worked through pain a lot, mentally also seeing myself to recover. I had such a strong drive to be able to dance again. That's for me was my joy. And what happened? Yes, in 7 months I recovered, and I would say almost fully recovered. But I was left with very debilitating sciatica pain. It would be, I experienced neuropathic pain for 3-4 times a week, severe, and I had to live with this. So what happened that I came across of these modalities, energy, frequency-based modalities, and that brought me back. I managed my pain with that. So pain's gone, and I was able to do everything. And oh my God, from that point, it was a revolution in my head, like thinking, we don't know anything about healing. And the more I start digging into this, I went to study Chinese medicine, acupuncture. I understood the acupuncture is nothing but, energy circuits in the body, and energy circulate in the body as much as blood circulating and lymph. And so this has opened up my horizon. And once I understood the basics and understood without energy, we simply cannot heal, I suddenly saw a very big gap in the whole, what's offered to patient. Patient would go through nutrition, patient would go through adjustments, in the best scenario, otherwise they're just on drugs all the time. But when you give energy to the body, when you give this potential, you really own something. You really start fueling your healing way through your disease. And eventually you get complete resolution of the problem. And that was my journey.
I thank you, God, that you were injured. I know that sounds crazy. I was hit by a car that propelled me into this world too. Okay,
Yeah.
the pain. It's interesting
Mhm.
because in the medical world, they look at it like a dragon attacking you. I just had a discussion with a patient. She says, "What do I do for the pain?" And I says, "Well, that doesn't make sense to me." Now, if you said, "What do I do for inflammation?" That makes sense. So, what do you think? I kind of know your answer, but can you explain what pain is? You know,
Yes.
how would you word it?
Oh gosh. Well, first of all, I experience pain myself, so I can tell you exactly pain is. It's bloody horrible. It's so horrible because nothing can get you out of this. And I see a desire of people to escape out of that pain. But people need to understand this is an expression of your self. Yes. Without pain, you would either further injure yourself. Yes. Because if you remove pain, this is your protection. This is signal which sends to the brain saying there is a damage, there is a trauma. And what is happening when people don't address pain, when they just cut the body off that? It's becoming chronic. It's actually evolved into something which is there on the background somehow, like a broken records, playing. So to start with, I'd say, okay, from medical point of view, it's a sensation which arises in your nociceptors, which are fine receptors. But again, these nociceptors, they are electrical signaling. It's electrical signal which sends to the brain and tell the brain, alert, look at this part of your body, you are broken. There is something trauma locked in this part of the body. So in the best scenario, you need to work with pain, engaging your nervous system. And if you use, for example, medication or you use TENS devices, for example, you literally cutting that part of the body and stop signaling in your brain to tell there is a problem. So the situation is now, so you have this a manager sitting on the top of their tall building and thinking everything is okay, but the whole company is in destruction because the whole body experiencing a trauma breakdown, but your brain, your chief person who knows everything about your body, is completely unaware. And that's where the problem begins. You need to re-engage your brain. You need to re-engage your central nervous system in this process. And then the healing can begin. And in addition, you have to have assisting processes in the body, but the brain is the main conductor. It's going to tell the body, release endorphins, pacify that pain. The brain will say, okay, improve blood circulation, improve this blood flow, this area, get your soldiers out, get your white blood cells to fight. It's all orchestrated in our body. So,
the way you put it, pain is the expression of yourself. Dear, I got goosebumps. Okay, you're one of my favorite doctors ever. Okay, and when you said that it stimulates stem cells because your body produces stem cells. I'm at my clinic in Mexico and I just had stem cell therapy. And yes, I did use the flex beam where I did it to maximize the effect. When you said that it can stimulate the mitochondria, the more people understand about mitochondria, that this is the energy producers of the cells. It has a different DNA than your body. Mitochondria are energy. I mean, it's a completely different world. Can you tell us more how it boosts mitochondria? Because virtually every medication suppresses mitochondrial function. When you're looking at Alzheimer's, you're looking at every neurodegenerative condition that involves in suppressed mitochondrial energy, 100%. So this thing boosting mitochondria, everybody out there should go, oh my God.
Totally. I'm totally with you. And how many patients I had who on antibiotics, one after another, it's completely destroyed the gut, completely destroyed mitochondria, in the gut itself, and it destroys, positive. And in addition, you have medication like corticosteroids, for example, yes, antidepressants. They all destroy mitochondria. And then you're surprised why people can't heal themselves. They don't have that potential to heal. Yes, I agree with you that it's actually mitochondria. It's a symbiotic organism, which through evolution we adopted because we have a very good, relationship. We were supplying with oxygen. Mitochondria would be supplying us with energy, and we're supplying the mitochondria with oxygen. So all these processes are synergetic. So how does it work with mitochondria? So mitochondria generates ATP. ATP is energy molecules, which then use in return to fuel body reactions. So we have organs which probably have massive amount of mitochondria, like heart, like brain, like gonads. They all hugely supported by mitochondria. Why? Because this is, when we think we use energy for this. So all these organs have mitochondria. And once people have illness or they have suppression or by medication with mitochondria, then of course the problem begins with health. Overall potential in the body drops and overall energy drops, and we cannot heal. So when you use lights, red light, it directly stimulates mitochondria, makes the electrons flow a lot faster. So it's a physical presence of energy. It's tangible energy as well, and increase in the production of the ATPs. But also because a lot more, there is a pigment called cytochrome C oxidase, which binds with oxygen. And as a result of this binding process, it kicks out nitric oxide. And nitric oxide then produces for us vasodilating effect. It won't be a surprise for you to learn that most of cardiological medication is aimed at producing this vasodilating effect. Well, we can do this with light without any side effects. Why not to use it, right?
So you're talking about the brain governs everything, okay? In a chiropractic sense, the nervous system controls and coordinates every function. The body is going to increase metabolic activity or cellular production to handle everything. Regeneration of tissue, handling of infection, literally rebuilding the body. So you're wording it has the brain is sending and you're increasing the energy in that area. Doc, this is how human beings are, but the medical system is so far away from that. They think that there's a chemical process. I'm going to give you a chemical and it's going to change your physiology. That how far away do you think the medical world is from understanding that it's not a chemical system, it's an energy-based system, and that if we can find a way to increase the energy or the metabolism, the cellular energy in that area, that your body will reproduce it? Do you think the medical world's ever going to come along to common sense like what you've found?
I personally have a hope because this is in my mind, I call this medicine as physical medicine compared to chemical medicine, which now prevalent in the mainstream medicine. And once we have the opportunity for medical doctors to study physics on a cellular level, to study physics of the body, to understand these processes, we have a chance. Because in this case, doctors will understand better these processes and doctor will engage better. But without this understanding, it cannot happen. So education is a key. But I have a hope, I tell you why. Because new generation, younger doctors, they open-minded, they they live with technology, and technology is actually using physics a lot in many circumstances. There is a lot of diagnostic equipment which uses physics, so there is a hope. I just want them to be open to understand that this is viable. It's fully scientific. Flex beam, for example, is a device which was developed based on pure science. Arian, myself, we've gone through tons of medical research, tons of scientific research behind the photobiomodulation, finding the right dose, finding the right parameters to make it effective. Because without the right parameters, the light therapy could be ineffective. And that's that's why, you know, when somebody designs study, there could be so many flaws, and somebody may not get results because of that. But yes, I have a hope.
It will. I mean, evolution, because treating people with chemicals to alter their physiology, it's stupid on the surface and it doesn't work. so eventually they're all going to die off or by utilizing their own products. There's something about NASA though. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now NASA studies, are they utilizing LED therapies?
Oh yes, I tell you, this whole revolution of LED started from NASA. I mean, before, you probably remember times. I remember times because I was in ex-USSR at the time. And lasers were very big deal, very big deal. I was still a student in medical school, but already my teacher, my doctor, he was using lasers on me to heal from the wound. I fell on skin, and he was using that to heal me. And so lasers were prevalent before, and everybody thought only lasers effective. But it's NASA who puts the first LED technology on the stage. In the year 2000, 2001, there is suddenly a burst of research came from NASA using LEDs, and the research was very positive. They showed the wound healing. They showed also neural regeneration. They show variety of the energy impact on the cellular level. And so that's because NASA is a very serious institution, right? You can't discard that and say, oh, this is like somebody unimportant. So the people start paying attention, saying, okay, maybe we have LEDs there. And since that time, evolution in LED technology began. And in the last, I would say, 5 years, we have so high quality LED diodes, so they can almost match the parameters of the lasers by quality. And so proudly I can say that in FlexBeam we utilize only the very best LEDs, because as you know, on Chinese market there are some very crappy things as well. Yeah.
Doc, if it's okay with you, I'd love to open up the Q&A, because sure. Every time that I do the Q&A, I learn as much from the questions as I do from the answers. And thanks for everybody for making it. God bless you. I'll see y'all later.